Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna talk about the JJ Electronic ECC83 types of tubes. Now, JJ Electronics, it's a current brand. They've been around since the early 90s. They've basically been producing tubes ever since, and this is basically today's current available tubes that you can find for a decent price. This is completely different price than you would spend for, let's say, a vintage Mallard or Telefunken, whatever. This is what it's on the market today, and I want to talk about a little bit about these tubes. Some people absolutely hate them, some people love them. I'm somewhat stuck there in the middle. I like them, but I'm not crazy about them. But they definitely are a good choice for someone that doesn't want to spend too much money on the tubes and just want to have a decent sound. And this video is going to be a little bit of detail of different types of ECC83 that JJ produce. Now, I only miss the 5751 type. If you have one, write me in the comments, tell me what it sounds like. I'm curious, maybe I'll get one in the future. Not sure. But anyways, I want to talk about the different types and different sounds they provide. Now, the biggest misconception I always run into, most people judge JJ by their 83S model. And this is also perhaps one of the least favorite tubes of a current production tubes. Now, this tube is, the way I would describe it is kind of like muddy on the bottom and too brittle on the top end. It's just kind of a tube that, at least to my ears, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one, it sounds just a little bit off. It's just a little bit unbalanced. The mids and bass are kind of like gelled into one, kind of a blanket over sound, and the top, it's kind of harsh. It is what it is, but again, I don't know what's the prices are now. I know there's the tube shortage, got those up, but this is usually a $15 tube, and in any sense, you can go wrong. It works. It doesn't have, for what I read, as many reliability issues, but it doesn't provide phenomenal sound range. At least if you're a little bit more demanding listener. So I move to the next one. This is the tube I would choose over 83S any day. It's not perfect, but it's good. Now, this one is called ECC83 MG. I have a gold pin version. I never tried the standard version. If you have one, write me in the comments what it sounds like. But I'm gonna tell you about this one. This one has a very nice, rich mid-range, a very nice compression to it. The bass is good, yet not a strength of this tube, and the top end, I would say it's okay. However, this tube can sound a little bit fizzy and brittle sometimes. Depends on what kind of a tube combination you have. Now, what I read on the internet, they say that this tube's supposed to sound like something in a close range in a sound spectrum like an old Mallard, but it's not like the old Mallards, tell you that. But it's a good tube. If you have a chance to buy this one over 83S, I recommend you so. It's a good tube. Now, moving to next one. This one is called ECC83S. This is basically a copy from the Tesla ECC83S. And I believe this is one of the longest plate constructions in the ECC83 type tube. Even in the modern and vintage, I think this is the longest. It's pretty massive plates. It sounds, now how it sounds, the bass range is the strength of this tube. It has a really nice, strong and detailed bass. The mid range is nice and neutral. the top end, I would say it's more clear and less harshy than the MG or the 83S. But it's not anything, like I said. It's not like a vintage tube. It doesn't sound like a vintage tube. I know this is a copy of the famous Tesla 83S, but I never tried the Tesla 83S, but I strongly believe it doesn't sound like it. Now I have the same version 8003S. This one is in gold pin. It sounds just a little bit different than the standard. I think this one has just a little bit stronger compression, so in a guitar amp this is a blessing. It sounds really nice. I would say just a hair better than the standard, but overall, it's 8003S's are good tubes, especially for how much you're spending for it. And my favorite, and this one is definitely my favorite, from the JJ E83CC. Now this one, the JJ and the internet has claimed that this is the only frame grid tube in a modern production. Not sure even if it is a frame grid tube or if it's the only one. I can't say that, but this is my favorite tube. Now this is the one of a JJ that gets the closest to the vintage sound. I would say that middle range and the bass range is very nice and detailed and has this really nice cottony sound to it. The top, it's nice and tamed, and overall this tube would be definitely a best choice in a modern JJ preamp tubes. Is it better than anything vintage? No. But it's definitely the greatest, in my opinion, JJ current produced tube. So if you don't want to spend too much money on the vintage tubes, there is some choice that JJ has, but keep in mind, vintage is vintage, modern is modern. There will never be anything like it. So just for the end of the video, just for a little curiosity factor, I have a bunch of 83S's. I got so many bulks of tubes I bought over the time. They somehow always ended up with at least one 83S. So I have plenty of them, and I don't have much use for them. But anyways, just a curiosity, here is two different boxes. This one is older. I believe it's late 90s or early 2000, and this one is basically a modern made, a couple years old. From what I can say is even the older boxes perhaps had a little more quality because, look at the state they're in. So I guess, but you don't care about the box quality, you want a good tube. But that was just a little curiosity factor on how the JJ box changed in the past, 20 years, whatever. But yeah, hope you found this video informative. Hope this clears some answers for all the people that are purchasing JJ tubes. This video, by the way, is not sponsored by JJ Tubes or anyone in that sense, but I just wanted to give you a little shout out to the JJ Tubes because most of the people just talk about the 83S and they forget about the other models. From my experience of trying them, I can say that the other models are way better, and perhaps maybe someone makes up his mind and give it a try to some other JJs and maybe find something that he likes. So that's it. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.